What's up,
Sweet.
everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Batter's Eye. It's been about a month since we've filmed a real podcast, and we're back here with a guest that we've been working on having for quite a bit. A lot of you guys probably have heard of him, but don't really know who he is. So we'll give you a chance to introduce yourself, talk about yourself a little bit before we get into the episode, but don't give away too much yet.
Let's do it. So, what's up, everybody? My name is Rochman. I'm head of operations for the Enjoy the Show podcast, and I run it with Dan, who is the founder. And so, basically, I handle all things behind the scenes and all operations, like I said. And basically, I started off in this content world as a social media manager working for esports organizations. And I was basically running social medias for the esports accounts themselves. And then I was also individually managing the players that were within them. And that looks like posting clips on Instagram, YouTube, helping with video ideas, titles, tags, everything, keywords. And so I was basically doing this for some of the biggest pros in Brazil and some North American players as well. And I did that to kind of get my name out there. And I've always been a business guy and I've always wanted to work behind the scenes and also be on camera. And so while I was doing that, I streamed on the platform Twitch. And over COVID, I amassed around 8,000 followers in about 7 or so months. And so Twitch is a really hard platform to grow on if you guys don't know. But I kind of saw this. I built like 15,000 followers on Instagram and a couple thousand on Twitter. And I was like, okay, I can do this in a short amount of time. And I have this business savvy mind. And okay, I'm already social media managing. Why not take this a step up and, really get into the social media managing world? Got a little bit tired of streaming, but I always had this drive to, work with people. And so I put a halt on my personal content creation and I was really grinding out social media management. And so at the time, I was also committed to play baseball at this school in Ohio last year, Oberlin College. And so summer ends up coming around, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to bring my PC. I want to go full into baseball. Like, this is what I'm doing. I've worked my ass off for the past 4 years to go play college baseball. I'm going to go do it. And I owed it to myself to go and give it a shot. And so I went to Ohio and really grinded, met some of my best friends there who I actually live with currently in LA. And so I really grinded my ass off, ended up starting 3 games as a freshman, and I think I had 8 or so appearances. And I had a really, really good time, but Ohio just wasn't the place for me coming from LA. And I've always had this content mind. And so once the season came around and finished up, I had, over the past year or so been following Dan, and I noticed that he had a really good thing going for him. He has an incredible editing talent. And I basically said, yo, just finished up season. I've been in this game for a little while now, and you're doing an incredible job yourself. But I mean, there's always room to improve. And I don't know, you seem like a busy guy. Let's work together. So eventually, we go and throw in Massachusetts or in New Hampshire because Dan's from New Hampshire, and I actually have the majority of my immediate relatives on my mom's side are from Massachusetts. And so I go there a lot to go visit family. And I was like, let's go throw and chat and see what happens. We go and chat, throw and chat, end up talking on the phone after for a couple hours. And, here we are.
Yeah, that sums it up. That sums it up. Yeah. I mean, I think I first noticed after we met up with Dan in the summer, I think you started you liked some of my posts, and I was like, and I saw that Dan followed you, and I was like, you know what, maybe I didn't know who you were at first, and I didn't want to bother Dan at this time, yo, you know who this guy is? And then I saw him start posting some of the stuff, and he was telling me about the ideas you guys had for Enjoy the Show and what you guys are doing now, and I was like, got it. I thought you were just a guy who watches Dan stuff, and he posted with me,
Yeah,
and you were like, oh, let me like this guy's stuff and see what he's about too. I was like,
totally,
this is
totally.
a fan.
I bet a lot of people kind of thought that until I started jumping on camera a little bit. And so I do plan on getting back into the content roots myself a little bit with some free time as I'm medical redshirting and have a lot of time on my hands. But
Mhm.
I think you're right. I didn't really know my role at the beginning either. I was just helping run the Enjoy the Show Instagram, which was formerly the Baseballer Show.
Hmm.
And so I was just posting, trying to do my best to fit in where Dan needed me. And I know as a person, if I put my heart into something and I work hard at it and really make it my priority or like one of my main focuses, I'm going to succeed at that. And I kind of knew, yeah, maybe I'm just going to come in as a social media manager, but I knew it was bigger than that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. At first I was like, oh, that's nice. Like we have another fan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I told Dad, and I was like, "Oh, I might want to follow this guy back." Like, I think I had like the follow back for like a couple months, and then I think,
My bad.
no, it's all good. That's on me. I was just like, interesting,
Yeah,
and then I think, yeah, and then I talked to Dan, and he was like, "Yeah, no, like Leo's my guy." I was like, "Oh,
yeah.
okay, I should probably DM him and say something."
When I saw you guys went to that Yankee game and Dan was telling me about it, I was like, oh, I gotta follow the boy Aiden. Let's go.
Yeah, and then we started talking. I was like, "All right, yeah, this guy's in on everything."
Yep, yep.
Yeah. And then Max too. I told Max, I was like, yeah, like this is Leo. He's like with Dan for everything. And then Max was like, makes sense. Because I think I
Yeah,
told you about it too. I was like, yeah, this guy keeps liking all our stuff. Like, all right, nice.
pretty much like I couldn't tell you a single day that Dan and I haven't texted or seen each other or handled like any sort of operation. I swear to God, like it's unreal the amount of shit that we've just been grinding on. And
Mhm.
I feel like anybody can do that because, you know, Dan started this podcast as a creator and, he had you there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. I was just making sure you looked frozen on my end, so I wasn't sure.
Ah,
But so Dan started this podcast and YouTube channel. I mean, Dan's been making videos for years,
yeah.
and he had gotten subscribers in a really significant amount, and he really grinded his ass off to get to this period where he was getting like consistently like 1,000 views or 2,000 views, or then maybe one video pops off for 10,000, and I mean he was making some really like cool authentic baseball content, and so I kind of saw that always and I was like, oh man, like this dude's dope, he's got it going for him. And then literally after that we just chatted like every day for hours and we're like, let's like, we both have this mind where we want to create something where we can inspire people and we want to be bigger than just one thing. So we just kind of scaled up from there.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, this is all great. Like I didn't know a lot of this stuff either, so I'm glad to hear it. And I'm sure Aiden could attest to this. Not really me, but like it's a long behind the scenes process. Even just with doing like small podcasts like this, lots of setting up time, lots of planning, whatever. So
100%.
I'm sure it's like 10 times more for you guys. So I'm wondering if
Yeah,
you guys have any more like people working for you now since you guys gotten so much bigger with lots of more stuff to do.
I mean, we do have some guys working with us, and we're kind of like a tight knit group of like the Enjoy the Show team. And, we are bigger now, but pretty much any money that we get goes like into scaling the business. And, we want to grow this bigger. So we're still bootstrapping, and, we can't have people on payroll like you see at any of these other guys. But, we have a tight knit group of people that believe in the vision and really want to see it happen. And obviously, we compensate them in ways that we can. But I mean, we have Tony, who we actually met in Lids, which is unreal. But he worked for the Pac-12 and ASU, and so he does all our graphic design, and he is incredibly talented. And so he's like the only other guy that I'd say is in the business day to day. I mean, I talk to this dude 24/7, and he is like, he is has the same mindset where I'm gonna get the shit done. I'm gonna drive up to LA this weekend. We're gonna grind this, and he's like probably the only other guy that's in day to day business right now. And then we have guys like my buddy Spencer who helps with a lot of short form content, or just our buddy LJ who helps film when he can, or Taylor. Like we freelance and get contractors and stuff like that. But really, on day to day basis, it's me, Dan, and Tony. But
Hmm.
to tell you guys a little bit about the behind the scenes, I got a funny story for that one. So Dan and I had Dan flew out to Arizona and I met Dan in Arizona, and we did our first Eric Sim podcast. We did some stuff with Clean Fuego, and Dan and I were just like, holy shit, this is amazing. Like, we're with Eric Sim, like this is gonna blow up. Eric Sim is this great guy. We're at Momentum. It's an unbelievable facility. So basically, to run it back a little bit, we had done the Eric Sim stuff, first Arizona trip, success, loving it. We're on this super hyped, like high roll, and we go to LA. I'm talking like 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. every single day. Like, we'd wake up, go down 30 minutes to downtown LA where the All-Star Game hotel was. We parked there, bought the bullet, paid to park there so we could get into the hotel. And we're basically in the scene. Vladimir Guerrero is right next to me. We're talking to all these players. Prospects are there. The home run derby's happening. The All Star game's happening. The MLB draft's happening. There's a boxing match that night too, and all in downtown LA, all in this hotel. And so we're like, okay, this is the place to be. We're gonna park here every day after the All Star game, after the home run derby. We're gonna come back here, hang out with everybody because there's all these after parties happening. We kind of just meet people and find our way in.
I was
Yeah.
gonna ask about that after party.
We'll get deeper into that one, but basically we're meeting people, building connections until 1 a.m. every day, and we're driving like 40 minutes every night. And so that week is over pretty much. We're on our last day. We're like, okay, let's just like relax. And then so this agent texts us who we had met at the All-Star game, and he represents Luis Gonzalez of the Giants. And Charles, an incredible guy, and I've actually learned a lot from him, and we talked for hours. And he was like, "Look, meet me at this mall in like 45 minutes," and that's all he says. And he tells us like this restaurant to meet him at, and we're like, "Oh, okay, we're grabbing dinner." And so we get there, and it's this mall. There's live music going on. There's people everywhere. It's super loud, like not the setting to shoot content. And Charles puts us to a little bit of a test. He's like, "So what are we doing?" And we're like, "Thought we were like grabbing dinner." And he's like, "Let's shoot a podcast." And we're like, "Are you kidding me right now? Like, what do you mean, Charles? Like, there's people everywhere." But Charles is this mentor. Luis Gonzalez is literally standing right next to him. So we have to figure this out. And so we're like, okay. I go to this taco restaurant. I tell him what's going on. I'm like, look, we're about to shoot a podcast. Can I borrow some chairs and some stools to put the cameras on? Because we didn't have tripods. We thought we were getting dinner. And so that works. We get the stools. This family's sitting at this bench, and we ask them to leave. Literally, we ask them to leave. We shoot the podcast on this bench with live music in the back, set up mics, bootstrap everything. And it was probably one of the most high quality podcasts we've shot.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it just worked out.
Mm-hmm. It's like something that shouldn't work out.
Exactly. It's like we just got a little bit of that luck from grinding all week, and it paid off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's how you do it. Like, you build the network, and obviously those guys, like, if they see what you're doing, they're not gonna leave you in the dust like that. Like, they know how hard you guys work. They know how hard Dan's worked. And I mean, I know everyone's seen his stuff on TikTok. Like,
Yeah.
he's doing crazy things.
Exactly. Dan's editing style is unlike no other. And I think, Dan getting added to or inducted, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, to the ESPN creator class was something that was really important. And I was happy that he was able to kind of reflect on that and really like be happy about it because, Dan's unsatisfied with everything. I mean, I like, as a behind the scenes guy, like, I see the work we put in. I put in a lot of work myself, and I'm like kind of big on rewarding success, but you also don't want to do it too much because then you're just always rewarding yourself. But I'm big on, if you work really hard, and you get this accomplishment, you want to reward it, and you want to treat yourself right so you never burn out, and you always have this idea that, okay, let's work hard, let's keep working hard, let's keep working hard. But at the end of the day, the content is a reward in itself. And once you produce this, you're like, okay, this is amazing. And so when Dan got inducted to the ESPN creator class, I was just really happy for him because, one of the best editors in the game right now, making unreal TikToks, unreal YouTube videos, and staying consistent with this whole thing. And, we're doing a lot of this stuff as a team, but Dan is like the first person I've ever met that has like really matched this creative energy and this hardworking mindset and obsessiveness that I've had. And that was something that was a really like turning point for like how I realized like I'm not just going to be a social media manager with this. Like this is going to be my life for the next 6 months, and which has been, and now it's just my life for the foreseeable future. And Dan, I just don't know how to describe him. Like he works so hard. Like if you could see it like I do on a day to day
Oh yeah.
basis, you would just be like mind blown.
I mean, I text him a lot too, and I'm texting him, and then he gets back to me, and like 3 hours later, he's like, "Yo, wait, what were we talking about? I was busy."
Yeah,
I'm like, all right. Or then he'll like respond to me in like a week. I'll be like, "Yo, my bad, bro." Like,
and
I'm
that's the
like,
truth. That's the truth. Like
no,
some days,
yeah,
some weeks, like we get so into it, bro. Like we're just locked in, and I get home from the studio, and like I'm just like, what the hell did we even just do this week?
yeah, no, it's crazy, and like, and I talked to him. Not obviously, like, not as much as obviously, like I don't know as much as you guys do, but I know a lot about what's going on. And like he tells me everything. Like and he always tells me I'm 2 months behind him, which like in a way I am. In a
Yeah,
way I am, but also like I can't travel. I have to finish school. I
yeah,
have to finish school and I have to get my stuff done before I can really travel and do things that you guys are doing, which
yeah.
summer
Because you're still in high school, right?
yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
senior.
yeah. So
I'm a
that's
senior.
both you guys, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Grind
next year.
time. That's grind time.
This is
Finishing up high school is
It's
you got
college applications.
there's just no way around not finishing high school. Um,
yeah.
I feel it though. There's ways and once in college to figure this stuff out and really pursue your passions. Because
Oh yeah.
with me, like in my family, it's like I'm getting a college degree. That's like there's just no other option.
Oh yeah.
And so, dude, literally, I would wake up at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m., whatever it be. Dan and I would jump on some calls with whatever company it might be or whatever, maybe just me and him talking. I'd go to class for 3 hours and or whether it's in person or online, finish that. And then I'd go to practice for another three. And then I'd go to lift for like an hour and it would be like four because we started
Yeah.
practice like pretty early actually. And then I would drive 2 hours to the studio, get there around six, work for like 4 hours with him, and then drive an hour back home. And it's just like Dan and I like we want this shit to happen. So we're gonna do everything that we can to make
Dude.
it happen.
And I see it with him too. And he's like, we were talking to him. We had him one. It was like probably like October. We had him, and he's like, yeah, like college. I don't know about that. He's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
going to class in like 2 weeks. I'm like,
yeah.
sounds about right. Like, makes sense.
Dan's just driven. Like we're all just driven. Like,
Yeah.
if I was doing most of the creative content myself, like
You.
creating it, there just would be no possibility.
Oh, dude, and I'm talking to my mom, and my mom is like, and I'm like, Mom, like I'm booking this trip to Seattle, like I'm going to Seattle, and she's like, and who do you think you're going with? I'm like the million other people that are gonna be at the home run derby.
Yeah,
She's like, well,
it's gonna be sweet there next year.
I'm gonna be with you guys. I'll link up with you
Hell
guys.
yeah, hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
We're
gonna,
because the draft's gonna be there too, and we got
yeah,
a couple buddies getting drafted, so it's gonna be a really
yeah.
good time.
So yeah, so I do my prospect series, so I'm gonna have
Oh
those guys.
yeah,
I'll have those
I've
guys
seen
getting
those. Yeah.
drafted. That's gonna be fun. I was, dude, I was thinking about like once, well, it wouldn't work for me, but like for you guys, rent the house for a week with other guys, like with Jackson and with Eric, with
Dude,
that.
that's an idea that is somewhat in the works. I'd say like it's in the back of our head, and people have kind of offered this idea to us, and we haven't actually come up with it
Yeah,
ourselves. But it's in the works, Mister Aiden. It's in the works.
dude, I was thinking about it, and I was like, let me book this and then talk to Dan about this because I'll front if I could stay. Like I'll do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
like I would do it. Yeah, my opportunity, like I would do that for sure, and then. Steven and you guys and Eric and Cam.
Yeah.
Gotta get Cam down there.
Exactly, dude.
Oh my
And,
god.
and and the thing is, bro, like we want every single person to succeed. Like I want to talk to you guys as well, like after off camera to see like what your vision is and how I can help
Uh-huh.
because, the baseball gets bigger and everybody does better
Oh yeah,
if we're all working hard and we're
it
all
all works together.
succeeding. And it's like there's room for literally everybody to succeed. And, I feel like sometimes we get lost in that, or people might be like, oh, like, like you're supporting him, like, but you got to focus on your own thing. Like, you guys are competitors and everything. Like,
Yeah, no.
sure, maybe there's friendly competitiveness, but like, in the end of the day, it's like if you're succeeding, we're succeeding. If Eric's succeeding, Steven's succeeding, like baseball's getting bigger and that's our vision, you know?
Yeah. The more people who watch baseball, the more people who will see the podcast or the YouTube videos or the TikTok
Exactly.
just pops up on
Exactly.
whoever's interested, especially with the phone listening to you 24/7. I mean,
100%.
I'm sitting here, my phone's off, but I'm gonna open TikTok after this, and all my For You page is gonna be Dan's TikToks and baseball videos.
100%. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. Like it just helps to work together.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, what, what is your, I guess we'll get into that later, but you can keep coming with questions.
I want to
Next.
mention something about like the grind, the schedule you have. I don't know. I feel like there's something part of that seems nice. Like just having this like schedule of always being busy and always being busy. I feel like if you want to be a content creator, like you have to have
Yeah,
this busy schedule. And also, like you said, you're playing college baseball, which I hope to play college baseball as well. And just like the mental grind. And also, I want to go back to what you said about the Gonzalez interview, about how you were just put on the spot right there, and you're in an uncomfortable situation. Like I don't know what I like. I still have to learn how to adjust to that. I remember when me and Aiden were at the game 5 of the ALDS. He was like, "Yo, Max, let's do all these street interviews with these crazy Yankee fans." I'm like, I don't know, Aiden, no, I'm not. I don't really want to do that because there's a lot of
yeah,
people, everything.
yeah,
And it's like, just trust me, be fine, be fine. So we did film some fun stuff, but at the same time, it was like I don't know, it was a little uncomfortable. But I feel
100%.
like the only way to be successful is to kind of like push yourself through these uncomfortable situations and just doing whatever you can to like make this content and make great content. So like actually, I was just watching the Gonzalez interview a couple of weeks ago, and first of all, I would never have known that was even a thing because the interview just looks so like smooth and so like
Mhm.
well shot. The editing is great, as you said, and you can just tell that you guys are just like you can just tell when someone's like a content creator, like just the way that they are, especially with you and Dan. Like
Yeah,
you can just tell right from the look that they're meant to be doing this.
exactly. And, there's two things that I want to point out about Dan that we joke about is he's got the curls. The curls is a look. It's recognizable, and he's got the voice. And the voice is like a content creator voice. He could be on Sports Center, and you'd recognize it. You'd be like, "Oh, that's Dan." And so that's really important. And another thing that I wanted to touch on, like I really enjoyed what you said about being uncomfortable. And, I'm really big on embracing discomfort. And I'm a huge supporter of the Seek Discomfort movement by the creators Yes Theory. I've been subscribed to their YouTube for years since they started with their like 30 videos thing at the beginning. And they make these videos where they go ask strangers to go skydiving with them. They have a party with 50 strangers. They have a movie premiere in 20 hours, like, crazy stuff like that. And they embrace discomfort and seeking discomfort. And I think that is really important. First of all, it creates a memory that, you will have for the rest of your life because this is something that you're pushing your body to do and your mind and everything around that. But you're also just building this like skill set and perseverance that you have in your head. And you're like, okay, if I can get through, you know, whatever it is, a marathon or this really uncomfortable video situation, and it comes out to be this great experience, and I learned so much from it, you can really accomplish anything in your life. And I'm super big on being uncomfortable and pushing discomfort. And that doesn't mean, like jumping off a cliff or like, doing some crazy shit like that without putting any thought into it. But it means, maybe that one street interview you were a little bit afraid to do, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna think about me being afraid for a second, and then I'm gonna put that aside and say, I'm gonna push through this. I'm gonna learn from it. It might not be perfect at first, but this is gonna be an incredible moment, and I'm gonna learn. And so that is what I'm really big on. And Dan will be like, "Yo, like maybe you should edit this," and I'm like, "Okay, not the best editor, but let me put my skill set to the test and let me try and push through this a little bit. Let me work on it." Or Dan will be like, "Can you get this and that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got you." Or like, "Can you go ask CC Sabathia um to like jump on the podcast or something?" And I was a little afraid of that at first. There's Vladimir Guerrero seniors around me, all these guys around me, and I'm like, "All right, screw it. I'm gonna go talk to shake Cece's hand, go up to Pete Alonso, talk to him about the podcast." And because I don't want to live life with any regrets, man. And that's the truth of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, like, and I guess going off Mac, we went to game 5 of the LCS. Yankees got killed. It doesn't even matter. The game's irrelevant. But we were sitting there like maybe a couple weeks before, and we were just done filming, and I was thinking like I wanted to go anyways because the Yankees, like I was like, all right, the Yankees have a good chance. This was before they even got to the LCS, I think. And then
Yep.
the Astros tickets started going down. They were about to get swept. It was game 4. They got swept. So it was like game 4, and then I think 2 days before I texted Lance. I didn't even ask for tickets. I was like, "Yeah, you want to meet up in the city and film a live podcast?" And then he was like, "No, but I want to give you guys tickets." I was like, "Okay, like I'll
Yeah.
take it." And I feel like I hate I hate sitting there and like DMing him and asking him for things like a fanboy. Like I hate doing
Yeah.
that. It is my least favorite thing to do. Chris Bassett to Toronto. Hold on, I just got that notification. Whoa, breaking news! We broke it here on the
Let's
podcast.
go.
Yeah. Oh wait. Well, it's not gonna be posted.
Crazy winter meeting stuff. But no, I
Yeah.
get what you mean. I think as a creator and just being somebody that's in the baseball scene, you have to have this balance of being a fan and being a peer
Oh
because
yeah.
with these big leaguers, we're not necessarily a peer because we don't play professional baseball. We're not in the bigs,
Mhm.
but you also want to try and you know be with him as a person. You respect what you're doing, your craft, yourself, but you also want to hone into this. Okay, maybe this is just a really cool moment because Lance McCullers or Chris Bassett or whoever it might be is been somebody I've been watching for years because you can't or you can do really whatever you want. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying for me is like I don't want to be necessarily a fanboy and I don't want to come off as too much like a peer, like I'm trying to impress somebody. And I also want to, remind myself that this is a cool moment and I am a fan of the game and this is just something that's cool. So there's a balance that is necessary, I think.
Yeah. And I mean, like sitting there the first time I meet him, and I'm like sitting there, and I have the ball, and I'm like, do I want I like the one rule is don't be a fanboy and ask for an autograph. Yeah, it took me 30 seconds to break that rule, but then again, that was like before I ever like met him. So I was like, you know what? Like it's kind of okay. Dan knows him. It's not really just me. Like
Yeah.
I'll get to know him after, and then it's like then I'm done asking
Yeah.
for stuff. And it was just funny. But like if someone wants to look at my phone, like if someone were ever to look at my phone and look through my text messages, like there's probably like 100 people I'm just asking to come on the podcast, and it's like left on red at 3:36 p.m. And I don't really care. Like I've asked
Yeah.
probably thousands of people to come on, like at least a couple hundred people to come on, and I got responses from however many I've had on. So this is my 45th video. Got
Sweet.
responses from like 45 people. I'm
Let's go. I mean,
I'm
you
like
got to do it.
I'm
Like
like
that's the biggest thing is
5%, but
yeah, you got to
is
be
what it
okay with
is.
you got to be okay with rejection. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I send a lot of DMs
that's the main
all the
thing.
time.
You need to check
Some
them.
guys just never see them. Majority never see them. I mean, especially when you're dealing with big leaguers, they have this crazy
Oh
busy
yeah.
schedule and they won't even see it. But some guys they see it and they're like, can't do it, like just can't. But you got to be okay with that, and you also got to realize, okay, they got their own thing going on. Like we got our own thing going on too,
Yeah.
and so I think being okay with rejection is also very important, and understanding that, shit happens. You can't always get what you want.
Yeah,
But you got to keep going because, that one DM is gonna really, really make the
yeah,
episode, make your month. It's gonna make what you've been working for days and days and days.
for
Like
sure.
we'll see in the coming months. I don't want to tease too much, but
It's gonna
couple
happen.
we got a couple DMs answered. I will say that some pretty cool DMs. So a couple nice videos coming up.
Okay.
Maybe you could tell us off camera.
Yeah. I'll let you guys know off camera. But this quarter one of 2023 is going to be crazy. Dan and I are going to literally work our ass off to make a system that allows us to create the best content possible for the people that watch us. And so we're really excited about that.
So I was gonna ask what's next because I know Max, you gotta
Yeah,
go. Yeah, you have
Yeah,
like
I have work. I might have to clock in at 5 o'clock. So,
gotcha.
uh,
But yeah, so what's next? So the
teeth.
grind, the grind is next. We are going to month by month produce weekly videos. That is our first goal. We want a video every week. That's something that's hard to do because we want to have a high quality video, but we're also okay if we miss a video, it's because we're trying to produce something high quality and we're big on quality over quantity, and that's okay. So we want to try and get weekly quality videos. We want to bring on some really influential people, some big league guys and some influential women in the game, and we're really trying to inspire people and grow the game of baseball. And that is our big thing. I will say there's going to be, it's kind of tough because I can't really say too much, but there's going to be some announcements with some companies. There's going to be some trips, but I also don't like to hype up too much until it actually happens. But I can let you guys know some things off camera. But it's going to be a really cool 2023. And Dan and I are super stoked to just be all in.
Okay.
sounds great.
I like
Yep.
Leo. You're pressuring me off camera here. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna have to post after this. I'm gonna be like, I'll offering reward if someone wants to pay me. I'll leak. No, I'm kidding. I'll
Yeah.
leak all the. No.
Well, I also
Okay.
want to say thank you guys for having me on because, I really enjoyed talking about this stuff. Not everybody gets to see what I do, and I'm always happy to come on. And I really think that having more podcasts around the game, having more creators like you guys is really important. And maybe another time, Max, when you aren't too busy and Aiden, you aren't as well, we can just jump on a little Zoom for like an hour or something and just talk about what we got going on and what like you guys see your goal as, what your visions are, how I can help you guys achieve that, and just what I notice on the surface level that you guys can improve on. Because ourselves and our, as enjoy the show, people tell us all the time what we can improve on, whether
Yeah,
it's you, whether it's other creators, and we really take that to heart. Even if it's just a viewer, they're like, we want to see more of this. 100%, let's do it. You tell us we missed out on that. 100%, let's work on it. So I think taking advice is also really important.
for
And
sure. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
so I have a couple things that I'd like to help you guys out on as well, if you didn't mind.
of course. I can stay
Of
on
course.
and I could talk to Max
Okay,
about it
cool,
too. Yeah, I could
cool.
stay on
Yeah, we
after.
can do that.
But yeah, and you guys, you're coming down to New York soon with Dan, right?
Yeah, so
I
there's
know
gonna
he
be a
said he was
couple
coming soon
couple New York trips. There's like a potential one this winter, and then there's also a potential one
in the
in
spring.
February.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah. He told me he was coming by. I don't know if it was going to be with you. He told me he was coming by in the next couple of weeks because I know he's coming down to Massachusetts or New Hampshire.
yeah,
He's going down
yeah.
there in
Because I'm
days.
going, I'm going to Boston for Christmas actually, so I'll be in the area. So if he's going up, I'll probably be going too.
All right. I mean, Max, are you in Maine? Are you in Maine or are you in Florida for the holidays?
I'm here for the holidays, but like we also have February open as well. Like,
That's yeah. If you want to take a drive down to Boston, I mean, I could drive us down there.
Hell yeah, let's do it. But yeah, once you turn that recording button off, we'll get into some stuff.
All right. So then I think we'll do that right now then.
Yeah.
I need to hear about this stuff. Let's
Yeah. Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be back on soon, especially if you guys are in
Yeah.
New York. Like you guys
I'll
will see a
jump
lot
on
more of
anytime.
Leo. I'll link all of Enjoy the Show stuff and his stuff, like personal stuff. If you're a creator who needs some advice, get in touch with him. If you want anything,
100%.
get in touch with him. He answers his DMs. So yeah, that's it. That's all.
Literally, DM me. I will help you guys out.
Yeah, DM him. It's true. He's me and him talk a lot, so I know he's
Sir.
always on his Instagram looking for someone to
Yeah.
be.
I got a crazy screen time. Unfortunately, it's about 10 hours a day. It's really unhealthy. But
Yeah, since I've been doing this, it's been up to. So
yeah.
all right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see. I mean, more Leo and Dan have been like Dan's been requested like 4 more times since he's been on, and he's already been on twice. So we'll do it. But thank you guys for watching, and it's time for us to figure out what is going on behind the scenes. See you guys.